Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Holly, and today I'm sharing my recipe for pralines, and these are more of a chunky, creamy praline, and these are really delicious. They're easy and sort of tricky to make, but they're worth it. You will need 1 cup of granulated sugar and 1 cup of packed light brown sugar, 3 cups of chopped pecans, and I don't use quite all of them, but I like to have that many available. 1 cup of milk, whole milk, and a half a cup of heavy cream. You will need 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract and 1½ sticks of unsalted butter. Now I'm using a candy thermometer to kind of gauge where I need to have this done, which is between the soft crack and the hard crack stage. You do not need one. I just like to use that as a guide, but you don't need to have one. And just a sturdy whisk, because you will be using that mostly in this recipe. It is a lot of whisking. And I used 2 spoons that I buttered. And some people like to use a long handle, like a really long spoon. I like to use this because I feel like I have a little bit more control over it, and these work great for me. Now this is a very important step. You want at least 3 lined aluminum foil pans, like cookie sheets, and you want them lightly buttered. That way, so it's easy to get the pralines off. But don't skip this part. Make sure you have this ready to go, because you will need this right away once the pralines are done. So just make sure you have the pans already prepared. And you will need a heavy pan, a pot that has a heavy bottom to it, and some pot holders. Make sure you have that available also. You want to melt your butter first, and you also want to make sure that all of your ingredients are already prepared and they're ready to go, because this is something that you have to constantly stir. So once your butter is melted, then you will add both of the sugars, and I just kind of break that brown sugar up, and I will mix that in with the butter. I like to have that all coated with the butter first before I start adding the cream. Now once the sugars and the butter have this consistency, that is when I will start adding the whole milk and the heavy cream. And now this is where the whisking comes in. You will constantly whisk this, and it will go from this consistency to sort of a caramel type consistency. And we're trying to get it where it will be thick enough when you put this on to those cookie sheets. It will solidify. It will start to harden up to make a candy. Now I start adding the pecans in, but I do not add all of them at one time. I will add a half a cup at a time. So that's 1 cup. And that's 2 cups. And I will just keep whisking this, but I can kind of tell that I want a little bit more pecans in it, because I like it to be chunky and have a thick consistency, not so much of a thin one. And so that's another half a cup. So roughly 2½ cups have been put in as of right now. But then I'm still, as I stir it, I kind of look at it and think, well, I need just a little bit more to add to it. And I add just not quite a half a cup and just kind of stir that up. And you will just continue to whisk and whisk and whisk until this gets to a thick consistency, because the last thing that you will add to this is the vanilla. And I want to go ahead and put this candy thermometer in now, and I do this sort of at this point so that way I'm able to still stir it. before that, but I'm starting to see where it's getting a little bit thicker, and I'm trying to get it to where it will get to that hard crack stage somewhat. It's sort of in between the soft and the hard crack stage, but you will see as I'm cooking this, it will start rising, and you can see that bubble. You want that to bubble up like this. It kind of foams a little bit, and if you notice that there's smoke coming from the pan, then you can turn it down, the temperature down just a little bit. But once it starts getting to this consistency, I know that it's getting close to being done. And also I keep an eye on that thermometer, and I can tell where it's at. And then you can see I add the vanilla in, and it foams up just a little bit more. And you can see that it's starting to thicken. And also you can tell on the sides of the pan when it starts to stick a little bit, it is getting to the consistency that you want. That's why I say it's a little tricky as far as trying to get it to the right consistency, because I have done it before where I've taken out too early and it just ended up being more of a caramel candy. It didn't necessarily solidify to where I wanted it to be, but this is the consistency I like it to be, and it is chunky, and it doesn't have a liquidness to it anymore. And I just really work fast and put these by the spoonfuls down, and just depending how large you make them will determine how many you get out of this batch. But you want to work really fast, and of course this is sped up some. And then you will let this sit and dry out for a few hours, but this is the consistency of it. It's thick, it has that creaminess to it, it's melt in your mouth candy, and that's what I like. And you can see when I break it, it just has that nice consistency. These make a nice little gift for if you want to put these in a little tin for a neighbor or a co-worker. But they really are delicious, and you just have to, it's trial and error sometimes and a little bit of practice. But I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're interested in seeing more videos like it, please click the subscribe button and the notification bell. That will notify you when I post new videos. Hope everyone has a Merry Christmas and a blessed day. Thank y'all so much for watching. God bless y'all.